Okay, so have you ever, like, felt like one of those forgotten people you hear about? You know, the ones dealing with stuff most of us don't even see.
Hmm.
Well, get this. There's this general conference talk, The Wind Had Never Ceased to Blow. And it's not about weather reports or anything. It's about actually seeing those people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and finding ways, even small ones, to, like, make a difference.
I see, I see.
Yeah. And it's Elder Cavalcante this time. And he uses this metaphor of the wind to show how even little acts of kindness, if they're consistent, can have a huge impact. Like a steady breeze is, can guide a ship.
Oh, right.
Exactly. And he starts with this amazing story about, get this, a bunch of lawyers in Brazil
Okay.
volunteering their time to help nursing home residents.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and these lawyers weren't just, like, filing paperwork.
Oh, really?
No, they were going above and beyond, talking with residents, getting to know their stories. Yeah, and by doing that, they uncovered some, well, honestly, some pretty shocking cases of neglect and abuse that everyone else had just missed.
Wow, so they were really giving a voice to people who had been overlooked.
Totally. Like, those lawyers became their voice.
Yeah.
They saw a need and used what they were good at to help, which I think is huge for all of us to remember.
Absolutely. We all have something to offer.
Exactly. Elder Cavalcante is showing us that we all have talents and abilities that can bless other people's lives.
Hmm.
It's about looking beyond ourselves,
Oh.
and asking, how can I help?
Right, right. Love that.
Okay, now for this next part, you're going to love this.
Okay.
So Elder Cavalcante shares this, well, it's kind of funny, but it has a really powerful message behind it. He talks about this woman, Lucia, who lives in one of these nursing homes.
Okay.
And she's so grateful for the lawyer's help, she jokingly asks to marry Elder Cavalcante.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
That's great.
It's a lighthearted moment, but it shows how much of an impact they were having.
Yeah, for sure.
They weren't just fixing legal problems. They were treating these people with respect and dignity, making them feel seen and heard.
Yeah, human connection is so important.
It wasn't about a quick fix. It was about really connecting with them. And I think that's something we can all relate to, right? Don't we all want to feel seen, to know that we matter?
We do. We really do. And, that actually leads perfectly into another point Elder Cavalcante makes. He talks about this man in his congregation who always wore sunglasses,
Oy.
even during church services. And for years, nobody asked him why.
It's easy to think, well, I'm not a lawyer, right? I can't just go around solving everybody's problems. But what I like about what he's saying here is Elder Cavalcante connects this story to something we can all relate to.
Yeah.
Missionary work.
Exactly.
He talks about how, especially for young people, how daunting that can be,
Yeah.
going out and doing that.
Right.
He even brings up, like, figures like Nephi and Moses, who felt inadequate,
Oh, yeah.
but still did incredible things.
They sure did.
Yeah. Remember Moses, I'm slow of speech and of a slow tongue?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the ultimate excuse.
Totally.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting. I think Elder Cavalcante talks about how we get caught up in this idea that we need to be perfect before we can serve.
Right.
We think, I got to have it all figured out first.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works, is it?
Not at all.
I mean, think about, like, learning a new skill or something.
Right.
You don't just wake up one morning and you're an expert.
No.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
You got to make mistakes. You learn a little bit at a time.
But it's a process.
And that's what this whole line upon line growth is, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's from the scriptures.
Right.
It's talking about how knowledge and growth come gradually through consistent effort and divine guidance.
Line upon line, yeah.
Like those little gusts of wind pushing the Jaredites across the ocean.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I love how he ties that whole wind metaphor back into this idea of challenges, too.
Yeah.
He uses this really powerful phrase, storms of opposition and waves of trials that submerge us daily.
Wow, that's intense.
Right. But then he immediately follows it with this, like, really reassuring.
Okay.
He reminds us that even when we're feeling super overwhelmed,
Yeah.
that divine help, that wind
Right.
is always there, pushing us forward to our own, like, promised land.
Our promised land, I like that.
I love that visual. We're not just being battered by the wind, we're being driven by it.
Yeah.
But here's a really cool part.
Yeah.
It's not just about us weathering our own storms.
Right.
He's saying we can be that wind for other people too.
You can, absolutely.
And it's not like it has to be some big heroic thing.
Right, right.
It's about those little everyday things, like those little gusts of encouragement. that can just totally change someone's whole day.
Yeah, totally.
Like she's asking, why do you always wear sunglasses? It's so small, but it like opened the door.
It can make such a difference.
Yeah, and help that man feel so much more comfortable just being himself.
Yeah, I love that.
It reminds me of that quote, like, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle.
Oh, that's a good one.
We never really know what someone else is dealing with.
That's true.
But even something small can be huge for them.
Absolutely.
But then it also makes you think,
Yeah.
what about when we're the ones who feel lost?
Right.
Like, what about when we're the ones feeling forgotten?
Exactly.
And Elder Cavalcante talks about both sides of this.
He does.
He talks about serving others,
Yeah.
but he also talks about those times when we feel like, invisible.
Right, like that man with the sunglasses.
Exactly.
Yeah, and his closing remarks on this are so good.
Okay.
He reminds us that even when we feel completely alone, like we've been forgotten,
Yeah.
we're never truly forgotten by God.
He uses that imagery again
He does.
of the wind,
Well,
talking about how even when things are tough, that support is always there.
it's always there, pushing us forward.
It's like he's saying, be the wind for others,
Yes.
but also there's a win for you.
There is. We're both giving and receiving that help.
Thinking about it today,
Yeah.
I keep coming back to this idea of the ripple effect.
Yo, I like that.
How one little thing
Yeah.
can have this huge impact,
Totally.
like those ripples spreading out when you drop something in a pond.
It's true, and we might not even realize the impact we're having.
Right. But that doesn't mean it's not there.
Not at all.
So maybe it's kind of twofold.
Okay.
Be that wind for others.
Yeah.
Notice people, help out, be a source of strength.
Be that support for others.
Yeah, but also remember, you're not alone in your own struggles.
Right.
That same love and support, it's there for you too.
It is so well said.
So to everyone listening, we'll leave you with this. What little thing can you do today to be that wind in someone's life?
I love that.
And as you're doing that, remember that same wind, that same love and support, it's there for you too.
Beautiful.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.